Hello and welcome. I'm Michelle with Paper Stamp Inc. Thanks for stopping by. Today I want to share with you how to make this fun fold card. It's a great way to use some of that beautiful designer series paper that we have and just add something a little extra to your card. So let's go ahead and get started with our supplies. Let's grab our paper, stamp, and ink. So today I'm going to be using the Tranquil Textures designer series paper. These are some scraps I had already cut down to 6x6, but it does come in a 12x12 sheet, and we are just going to use these first three sheets. Now remember, all of your designer series paper also has a back side, so you know it's like getting 2 for 1 when you buy the designer series paper, which is on sale this month. Buy 3 packs, you get the 4th one free, and you can mix and match. There's more details on my site. If you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Rep, I sure would appreciate earning your business, and you can shop at my channel, paperstamping.stampinup.net, and there's a host code on that front page. If you use that when ordering, then you will get free gifts from me as well. Now the other thing we're going to be using is an 8.5 by 11 piece of Tranquil Tide, and then a couple of scrap pieces were used to cut out these. I used our circle framelits to cut out the Tranquil Tide matting, and then I used the stitched dies, which are great. Those stitched dies actually come, here's the layering circles framelits dies. You get 8 circles, or 8 scallops and 8 circles in there, and the stitched dies you get circles, 4 ovals, and 4 squares. That's probably one of my go-to sets of dies. Actually, both of these are quickly becoming my favorites, so I always have them on hand. So we've got those pieces. I already went ahead and cut those out for us so that we could get started with making the card. Now let's go ahead and do all of the cutting first, and we're just going to cut this down to a standard card size. So I'm going to take that and put it on the long side, cut my 8.5 by 11 piece of paper at 5.5. Got to use the cutting blade, not the scoring blade. Alright, we're going to do that, and then, well, while we've got this up, let's go ahead and do the scoring on this as well. So I am going to score this piece at our regular midpoint, which is 4 1/4. So give that a good score, and then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to score at 1 1/4 as well. Alright, and there we've got our scoring done. Now I'm going to figure out which direction I like these going up and down. I'm actually going to use this for a little bit more of a monochromatic color of paper, so I like my lines going up and down on these directional. So now that I've figured out what's my top and what's my bottom pieces, I'm going to cut the bottom off of those. Let's go ahead and line them up. We'll do them all at one time. I'm going to cut those to 5 1/4 inch. And you know what, I'm going to do these individually. It looks like I might have, when I did my initial cutting of those squares down, got off slightly, so just to be careful, and just quickly cut each of these down to 5 1/4. This card goes together pretty quickly. Now that we have those cut down, we're going to cut our panels. So we're going to need 1, 2, 3, and 4 panels there of our DSP. So if you ever have your designer series paper, your pattern paper, and you just can't decide what piece you want to use, this is a great design card for this project. So mix and match. You can take and use your favorite designer series paper, your favorite stamp set, and change this around, or do exactly what I did. So I'm going to cut a 1-inch strip that's going to go here. And next I'm going to cut this panel and this inside panel. Now both of those are 2 3/4 inch pieces, and I'm going to be able to get both of them out of this strip here. And then the last piece we need to cut is just this little strip that's going to be peeking through on our background. And you know what? I'm also going to need my piece of Whisper White. I almost forgot that. So let's go ahead and grab a piece of Whisper White and cut this down to the 5 1/4 as well. And that piece of Whisper White is going to be 2 3/4 on that panel to give us this panel. We got to have something that we can write on. Now, I don't know your feelings on writing notes and cards, but my husband, his feeling is the less room to write, the better. That usually falls to me. Give me a thumbs up if you're the one that's always writing the notes and cards in your household. There tends to be one person who takes on that duty. So this last strip is going to be 1 1/4 inch wide. Okay, now that we've got all of our pieces, I'm going to put this trimmer away, get it out of the way, and let's go ahead and assemble the card base, and then we'll come in and do the stamping. So I'm going to use my bone folder to get a nice crease on that, and then fold this piece over, and again, I'm going to get a nice crease on there. My glue of choice is the Tombow Mono Multi, but you can use whatever your preference is. I just find that this gives me room to shift my papers around and line them up. Now these are trimmed down so that we've got a 1/4 inch smaller, which is going to mean that's going to leave us 1/8 of an inch all the way around our paper. I know, math, making you think, but you know what? You don't have to think because I'm giving the dimensions to you. So this piece, we're just going to slide in there, and one for the back part that's going to poke out, and I'm just going to kind of use my edge of my paper and line that up so they've got about the same amount of edge on the top, bottom, and the side there. And I'm going to add my Whisper White panel. And then one more piece, and we're ready to get on to the stamping, and we are whipping through this card quickly. I think this would be a great layout for Christmas cards too. You know, I have such a hard time with my designer series paper sometimes finding the ones that I want to use. I want to use all of them, so this gives me the ability to put several on one card. So the stamp set we use today is Waterfront Stamp Set, and this is great. It's got scenery builders. You can do mountain scenes with your pine trees, but it's also got the palm trees and water and sun. So it's very versatile. It's a watercolor type of look, so you can put together a scene very quickly. It doesn't have to be super precise. The colors we're going to be using today are the Crumb Cake, Tranquil Tide, Balmy Blue, and Mint Macaroon. Or Macaron. I don't know. I always probably say that wrong. Let's go ahead and open up, and we're going to start with our sand. Now, I'm going to do some second generation stamping. If you're not familiar with that term, that just means I'm going to stamp once off onto my paper so that it's not quite so dark, and I want this down a little bit under the halfway point to make sure that I have room to get my palm trees in there. So there we go. That's it. We're done with that one. So I just use this long piece that's got, you know, 2 little squiggle lines lined up there. Isn't that a great technical term there for you? And now I'm going to come in with my Balmy Blue, and we're going to use this piece. Can you see that pattern on there? You can use it for the water, and I'm also going to flip it around and use it for the sky. And again, I'm going to do some second generation, actually even a third, maybe I stamp that off a little bit more. There we go, we've got our water. And then I'm going to do a third generation for the sky so it's lighter. Now, I didn't take this and just turn around and stamp it up there, because if I did, you're going to see little marks from the stitched line where the ink came off in some places and not as much in others because of that dimension. So let's go ahead and we're going to go once, and go twice, and third time I'm going to come in with my sky. Now I'm going to do that again and come in and just fill in those little gaps up there. It's okay, there's some space in there. You've got a little look of clouds to go with it. And then there's this little speckled stamp in there that I love. It just gives some extra dimension to our water. You could also use it on the sand if you wanted. I just chose to use it on the water here, so it gives a little bit of extra texture there. And now we're done with the balmy balloon. We just have to add our sentiment and our palm trees. So let's get that crumb cake back out, and I'm going to go full strength with the crumb cake for those palm trees. And let's make sure I get them down low enough that I can add my leaves. Now if they go, or palm fronds, I guess they're not leaves, right, on a palm tree, they're fronds. So if they go off some, that's okay, but I definitely want to make sure I'm getting some of them on there. We want to be able to tell that they're palm trees. So the great thing with these photopolymer stamps is you can line those right up, and there's our palm trees. Now the last thing that we are going to do is use this little itty bitty thanks stamp that comes in the set. It's great, you can fit it in those little spaces, and I'm going to use the Tranquil tie just to tie in with the matting piece. Close it up so I don't get ink everywhere else. I don't know, maybe I'm the only one who's ever done that, right? Put a card down, got ink on the back of it after you've put all that work into it. Just makes you want to cry, so we're not going to do that. Let's bring this back in. And I'm just going to glue down part of that. I'm going to have a little bit hanging off the edge here, so I'm going to go about right there to put my glue in. And I think I'm going to put this one up a little bit higher than I did the other one. I think I like that better. So let's line it up, make sure they're not all tilting on that. And you know what? I am going to come in and do some stamping on the inside as well. I'm not real good about always remembering to decorate the inside of my cards, but this one just seems to call out for that. So I'm going to put some extra little palm trees in here. And line those up again. And there we go. We have our fun fold card using the Tranquil Textures DSP and our Tranquil Tide cardstock. Now, if you enjoyed the video, I sure would appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. If you look down below the video, there's a subscribe button. If you hit that subscribe, then you'll be able to get see my videos in your feed. And if you tap that bell, you'll get notifications when I post future videos. I'm going to be starting a series this month on craft fair ideas and also on Christmas ideas. So we can all use Christmas gifts, Christmas cards. Even if you're not part of a craft fair, you can use the ideas for gifts. I hope that you have a great day, and thanks again for stopping by. Keep creating.